ever started a live stream. Oh, we got one person here. I was going to say, this is the first time I've ever started a live stream where I actually haven't had anybody waiting, because usually I do these pre-scheduled. But today I figured, what the heck? We'll just start like we did old school back in the day, less than 3 years ago. What's up, Josh? Notification was on. All right. Hey, Mark Shank. Look at that doggy. Dan O. Hi. We got, man, 34 people in on a last minute stream. Skit Erd! Exclamation point. Howdy. Look at that. It's a gopher from Candy Shack. Oh, I think I did this last week. All right. Don't nobody worry about, dude, Kenny Loggins in the 80s. That dude was making some bucks off of soundtracks. It was amazing. Amazing how many, like, catchy, Footloose. He was in Top Gun too, wasn't he? Footloose, Caddyshack. What else? What else was Kenny Loggins in the 80s? When you speak about speakers, we listen. Hey, from Rainy Oli. Dano, you're inspirational, dude. Come on now. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for keeping the audio nerd flame burning. Of course. Greetings from the Culver's drive-thru. Yum. Just saw you alive. Mike Osmond. Yeah. Culver's. Getting yourself some, what do they call it? They don't call it ice cream. They call it custard. Culver's custard. Yeah. Greetings from Poland. Olga. Hello. How are you? Good to see you here. And don't forget his huge back catalog with Loggins and Messina. Yes. Did he duet with Streisand? I don't know. I just remember that he was everywhere in the 80s. Greetings from Dallas. Hello. Greetings from the other side of the Metroplex. Please tell me about Tannoy Mercury 7.4 floor standing speakers. I'm getting it at a bargain price. I don't know anything about those, unfortunately, Nadeem. I haven't ever heard a Tannoy. I've seen them. I've never listened to them, though. Here we go. 803 or T0. T0 all day long. All day long, and twice on Sunday. Every day. Twice on Sunday. Yeah, 803s are good. They don't have the mid-range clarity, or really any of the clarity than the T0 is going to have. T0, fantastic speaker. You're gonna, not super bassy, but it's night and day above the 803. So for sure, if you can get the T0 still. I know that they were being closed out. What speakers would be an update from my Sony CSS5? I forgot that. I can't remember that model number. Sony SSC S5. There we go. Well, the B1 Plus, I think, is an upgrade. B2 Plus is an upgrade. I'm trying to think. The Polk R100 would be an upgrade. Let's see. The Wharfdale Denton 80th would be an upgrade. I don't know, like, what your budget is, though. So, yeah. If you can, drop in what your budget is. Greetings from Atlanta. Gray Wolf. John Martinez with the Boxer from Richardson. What's up, my friend? Like my 803s, but lacking in the mids. Yeah, there's just some mid-range issues with those 803s. But I mean, if you're coming from something like a Bluetooth speaker or maybe like some edifiers or something like that, 803s, especially at their price, is a really good speaker. It's a fun speaker. Greets from Germany. What up? I can't even begin to guess how to say your name, so I'm not going to. What's a warm-ish sounding amp? Marantz. Yes, Marantz would be a warm-ish sounding amp. Denon PMA 600NE, Denon PMA 800NE, warm-ish sounding amp. Let's see. What else? A little bit warm. Actually, the BT20A Pro. A little bit on the warm side. Let's see what else. The IEMA, it was an integrated. Oh, I can't remember. It's like 130 or 140 bucks. Had a nice little warm tonality to it. Can't remember what that was. I used to have it right over there. I think I put it in a box somewhere or gave it away. So yes, those. I gave that one away too. It was kind of an off-brand. What was it? It had like some Canadian name. BC Acoustic. Was one of the warmest sounding amps I've ever heard. I don't even think they're in business, maybe. But if you went to their website, all the products were discontinued. And I think that amp was the only amp that was available. I remember they sent it in, and then I think whoever sent it stopped working for the company, or the company went under, because I'd never heard anything else from that company again. IO from Jersey. What up? All right. It's a good full range speaker for the Technics G700 M2. Oof. I don't know the Technics G700 M2. Full range speaker? That's tough, man. There's not a lot of full range speakers out there. I mean, I think the best that you can do is maybe get down to the 30s or so. And you know, of course, it depends on your budget too, and your preferences. I don't think you can go wrong with the Reserve series from Polk. A little bit pricey. I personally like the Emotiva sound. I don't think you can go wrong with, like, if you're on a budget, the Stage series from JBL. I think those are pretty affordable. ELAC, the oh my goodness, yay! The Stage series from JBL are affordable. ELAC Debut is affordable. So it depends on what your budget is. I don't have a ton of experience with like floor standing speakers though. Oh, I know the ones I really love are the Q Acoustics 5040. Those are spectacular, but you know they're over $1,000, I think. Got the Emotiva A2M to pair with the ELAC Debut 2.0 B6.2. The clarity difference between it and my Fozzy is nuts. Thanks for your reviews. Love your channel. Thank you, Movie Junkie John. Yeah, that's a crazy amplifier. And I think it's $270. So for $270, you can get like a real AB amplifier. So yeah, great. And it's got a crazy headphone amp in it too, which incidentally, I think you can jumper it to give full power to the headphone. But be careful, because they can get you. The G700 M2 is around $1,400. Yeah, I'd look at the I think it's the R700. I personally like the Klipsch RP tower speakers. I thought those were a lot of fun too. Full range though is tough. You're probably not going to get a full range speaker, but if you can get something that plays well into the upper 30s, lower 30s, then you're going to get the majority of the music. Have I heard Piega speakers? I have not. Can you recommend stand speakers with a compact footprint and front sporting? Front sporting. I'm not sure. Stand speakers would be, I like the Q Acoustics 5020s. I like the Wharfdale Denton 80th edition. I like the Emotiva B2 Plus. I like the Elect AB Reference. I like the Polk R100, R200. Very good. There's a few that I like. I don't know what "and front sporting" means, though. What do I think of vintage JBL? Oh, front ported. I catch you. All right, front ported. What do I think of vintage JBL? I've never heard any. And man, a lot of questions I have no experience with. Do I prefer the JBL 100 Classic or the Tecton Moa? I haven't heard either of those, unfortunately. Okay, front ported. So let's see. You have the Elect Debut Reference, which I like. You have the Unify 2.0, which I like, but you have to break in for like 100 years. So they take a while. You have the Debut B 5.2 and 6.2. I actually like the 5.2s better. You have the Triangle Bro 3s, I think. And at their price right now, I think they're fairly affordable. It's not a bad speaker. It's a good looking speaker too. Yeah. Look at the Triangle Bro 3s. I think they're, if you're in the US, I think they're like very affordable right now. They came out at like $600. I don't think they were worth $600. I think they're worth like 350 for sure. What do you think of the Netherlands? I don't know. I'm sure I would love it. I like colder weather. So I'm not a hot weather guy. I'm a jacket guy. I like to wear jackets. I'm sure I would love the Netherlands. The low-end Focal bookshelves are front ported. I'd listen to those. They're a little bit harsh in the upper mid-range. I have a subwoofer hooked up to a Wing Pro Plus using RCAs to get bass management, but I'm getting little output. Gain knob does nothing. Tried messing with the settings on back and even EQ didn't work. I have a subwoofer hooked up to a Wing Pro Plus using RCAs to get bass management. I don't really think it's meant to do that. I mean, it should send like a 2-volt signal out at max volume. But yeah, it's not a subwoofer output per se. That's just supposed to go into like an analog input. Are you splitting it? If I'm getting little output. Gain knob does nothing. Oh, gain knob on the subwoofer? Do you like what are you going into? Like how, like tell me like the setup that you have. Because unless you're splitting the RCA output, then you can't like plug it into an amp, because you can't have like digital output going and RCA output going simultaneously. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused. I don't know exactly what it looks like. The output is probably fixed. Turn up the volume. Yes. So you would be controlling the output from the Wii Mini. But again, like there's only one RCA output. So you're either splitting that output, or I don't know how you're going into an amplifier for it. It's going into a Fozzy V3. Okay. Got it. But again, like how is it going into the Fozzy V3? Because if you have a subwoofer hooked up to the RCA outputs of a Weem, then how are you hooking up to V3 unless you're splitting it? What you could do is turn the Fozzy Audio V3 all the way up and then run a 3.5 millimeter to RCA pair into your subwoofer, and then control volume from your Weem, and that should do the trick. Randy, Bahina, and your amp is junk. I don't know what that means. The Netherlands is a great place to live. They have hagelsag and herring. I know what herring is. I don't know what hagelsand is. Is he responding to super chats? I only saw one. Yeah, Movie Junkie John. It's only super chat. So, aren't the Unified 2.0s? Oh, whoops. My two-way B&W lack in the mids. Is the three-way B&W a lot better? I've never heard of, well, I've never had a B&W speaker in the house, so I couldn't comment on that. A lot of questions about stuff I've never heard. Aren't the Unified 2? Yes, I thought I mentioned those. Hey, look at this. Philip. Doit, it's interesting that you have a bike in your profile because I was legitimately just at a bike shop. I dropped off an old, so this is a little bit about my background. I like to do projects, and then sometimes I abandon the project about 75% of the way through the project. I had a project where I was taking an old mountain bike. I was taking the stuff off of it and putting it on a new mountain bike frame, and I ended up not finishing it. I sold the mountain bike frame and like the beefy front shocks to somebody. And so I just had this bike in pieces kind of sitting here. I just took it to a bike shop and I'm like, listen, just finish this, make a bike. And if it's like less than $500, I'm cool with it. If it's more than $500, then I'll probably just buy a new bike. So I dropped it all off. The guy's like, yeah, we should be okay. He calls me before I even get home. He calls me, yeah, so like half your spokes are missing. And so yeah, anyway, I'm probably going to be buying a new bike. Hey, Randy, what's a higher end full-sized amp that has a similar sound to the SMSL AL200? I like the sound, but more I/O and a pretty face would be nice. Okay. I think the Yamahas sound fairly similar to the SMSL AL200. You get a variable loudness control. So like think the AS301, AS501, AS701. Now, the knobs are not great. You can kind of feel it's cheaply made. But it's got a very punchy yet crystal sound. So those Yamahas would be good. The TA1 or the TA2 from Emotiva both have a lot more inputs, also have onboard DACs. Yeah. So I would look at either of those. And those are all going to be in that $500-ish and below price range. I don't know what the 501 is. And then if you have a little bit more budget, you could look at something from Rotel, like the A11 Tribute, the A10. A10 actually might be a really good choice for you but it doesn't have a DAC in it. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Pandemonium just throwing me $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Are there any great speakers from the Netherlands? I don't know. I'm taking it you're from the Netherlands. I have no earthly idea about the Netherlands and speaker manufacturers. Eckhart, thanks for the content, by the way, sir. You're welcome, Eckhart. Nice horse mask. I like horse masks. By the way, this is delicious. This video is not brought to you by Dr. Pepper, Strawberries and Cream, 0, but it sure is delicious. Yummy soda in my tummy. Rotel Tribute is great. Very good. I still love my Yamaha RX V3000. Rock solid. Very good. Of course I am Dutch. We love you. I love you. I say that like I don't know you, but in my mind, my idea. I love the idea of you. Jonathan Charbonneau. Hey, Randy, did the Linton will be good pairing with the Hiko? Did the Linton will be a good pairing with the Hiko Aurora 300? As far as like using the Hikos for surrounds, I guess I'm a little bit confused on the question. I'm not really following that one, unfortunately. I listened to quite a few too before choosing them. Who cares? 05003. Very good. Not sure. I bet that was something. Hey, $10. Ramon Delgado, my man, Superman. Randy, still loving my SSCS 5s and diamonds. 11.2s, a lot. What would be a next level upgrade? The Denton Hiko. I must have smooth rolled off top end because of severe ear fatigue. Thank you. The Hikos could be, but there's a little bit of harshness in the upper mid range with the Hikos, but they are rolled off. Not as rolled off as 11.2s, but they are rolled off. Let's see. What's a warm speaker? The PSB Imagine XBs. They're pretty solid. Rolled off. And they're around $400. I think that's an upgrade from the 11.2s. Let's see what else. PSB. There's like a list of 3 speakers that Wharfdale or not. Wharfdale Denton 80th is actually, it's not rolled off, but it's not like in your face with treble. The ELAC debut reference. So the front ported, but it's not the B6.2 or B5.2. It's the debut reference, which is like the more expensive. I think they're about $500. They're pretty rolled off on top. And unless you pump a lot of juice through them, like it's not harsh at all. So I think the ELAC debut reference would be a nice step up. You can probably get an open box or like a return from Crutchfield because that speaker's been out for a while. You may even be able to get a nice used pair for pretty affordable. Polk R200s, baby. Polks are a little bit, no, Polk's got a lot of top end. Those R200s. Have you listened to Greta Van Fleet? I have listened to Greta Van Fleet, but not like the new Greta Van Fleet where it's just like vibe music and it doesn't have any hooks or anything. I listened to Greta Van Fleet when they used to sound exactly like Led Zeppelin. But I don't listen to any like the new vibey music that doesn't have hooks or like good choruses. Like music lately, and it's not just because I'm old. I just feel like music lately has just gotten away from like having a really good hook and then having a really good chorus and then kind of having verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and then, having an intro, verse 1, verse, I just feel like those days are gone with current music, and hopefully they come back. Like there's a Tame Impala or something like that. I just can't get down with that music. My son loves it, but I can't get down with it. Capitol Audio Fest this year. Yes. We got the tickets and everything. Actually, I need to request a press pass for that. I have my plane ticket though. Okay. I had to read this before I read it because I didn't know if it was going to be dirty. The horse walked into a bar in the Netherlands and the bartender said, "Why the long face?" Yeah. It's a good one. Favorite speaker under $5,000? All of them. I haven't heard a speaker above $5,000. I don't think I've heard a speaker. Let's see. I think the highest I've gone was 3,000, which I think is the MoFi Source Point 8s. They're really good. I like those. I legit don't have any experience with anything above $3,000 though. I mean, like if you have a budget of $1,000 or $5,000, I mean the sky's the limit, man. There's so many good speakers out there. It's going to depend upon like what your preferences are. But there's a lot of good speakers. I saw Greta Van Fleet live, and it was a legit rock show. They put on a legit 70s style concert. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Their stuff that wasn't their least recent stuff, I really enjoyed. And it was funny because I think they were interviewed one time, and they're like, somebody said something about describing them or comparing them to Led Zeppelin, and it's like they got offended. I'm like, really? I mean, come on. Like, you legit sound exactly like Led Zeppelin. Like, you sound like Robert Plant. Like, the drums are tuned exactly like John Bonham's drums. It's a surprise to you that people are comparing you to Led Zeppelin. Anyway, I bet they are good. I've recently spent €250 for a pair of B&W DM4 from the 70s, perfectly maintained. They are the best pair of speakers I have ever owned for finesse, maybe because of the super tweeter. Very cool. I love these stories. Ed says, and a decent melody. Yes. You did the Heresy 4. Yeah. I don't know what those cost. Are those over $3,000? I thought they were like $2,600. Hey, Randy, I have a DAC question. What do you find in order of importance? DAC chip itself, digital filters, or the process of getting the signal to RCA outputs? The analog output stage, far and away, is going to, I think, put the most flavor onto the DAC or out of the DAC. So digital filters, for the most part, I'm hard-pressed to hear much of a difference. With the exception of the Roam DAC from SMSL, I could hear a difference between. There's only two filters though, and then I think RCA, the analog output, then the digital filters, and then the DAC chip itself. Although I just got a new DAC in, and it uses one of the newest DAC chips, and I've been told it's wonderful. Wonderful. GVF are better than many other bands. Greta Van Fleet. Metallica do love them and took them on tour. They say they sound like Led Zeppelin, but they sound more like Rush. Really? Man, I think they sound exactly like Led Zeppelin. Not nearly as much like Rush. But hey, Rush and Led Zeppelin are both great. I think Greta Van Fleet is pretty solid. I haven't listened to them for a while. I should listen to them today. What makes your channel unique between other audio reviewers? Man, that's up to you to decide. I think I'm not nearly as prepared as most other audio reviewers on YouTube. I don't think I do nearly as thorough of reviews as other audio YouTubers. I don't think I'm as smart as other audio reviewers. Let's see, what else? I don't use my B-roll. My production is not nearly as good as other audio reviewers. I'm not as well spoken as other audio reviewers. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much those. It's really nice to hear some of the best out there within a frame, starting 1,000. I'm not sure I understand what this is. It's really nice to hear some of the best out there within a frame, starting $1,000 to $10,000 so far. All right. Robin Nort makes your channel unique. Very much so. Yes. Randy, are you planning to do a video on linear versus switching power supplies? Do they actually affect how the DAC and streamer sound? I have 2 linear power supplies. I have patrons who swear by linear power supplies, and I have yet to hook anything up to a linear power supply, and I have 2 of them sitting here. I have a hard time like wrapping my brain around how I'm going to do that video. So I think some people would actually say that they make a huge difference. But this also goes kind of back to the cable debate, whether or not cables, interconnects, or anything like that makes a difference in sound quality, power conditioners. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. So number one, I get this question more often than you think, but number two, I don't know how like popular that video would be. And number three, I don't know how that video would be received. I think I actually do know how that video would be received. And that is if I say there's any difference at all, people are going to probably get in the comments and attack me for being stupid. Which could be a fair argument, but yeah. I will say so here's the funny thing, like iFi sells a $50 higher, I don't know, quality switching power supply. And way in the beginning of the channel, I tried that out. And it's difficult to do because you have to switch the power supplies and then and we have a short memory when it comes to like how things sound. And I think I did hear a difference. Whether or not the difference was better, I don't know. I think I heard a bit of a difference. So I know there's different levels of switching power supplies. Very cheap ones that you get with cell phones that are 5-volt and can run some DACs. More expensive ones. I always find it interesting that people say there's never any difference between like capacitors or power supplies or anything like that. But then, like, why do they sell different grades of capacitors and power supplies? If they don't make a difference, then why isn't like the cheapest power supplies included in things? Anyway, I always found that an interesting thought. So to answer your question, am I planning on doing a video? No. Do I have linear and switching power supplies? Yes. Do they affect how a streamer sounds? Yes. But I also think different switching power supplies will affect how a DAC and streamer sound. So it goes back to not all switching power supplies sound the same. Not all linear power supplies sound the same. So even within just the switching power supply, I think there's going to be differences. $5.37. How far up the Yamaha stack you got to go to match the AL200's SQYs in your opinion? I like the Yamaha look, but would like to up in quality too. I think the 301 sounds pretty good. I don't know though, because it's like I haven't like compared the AL200 directly to the 301. I'm just going off of like memory, and memory is that they were both very clean. Although the AL200, like the AL200 is just a fun sound. And with the EQ presets, you could get it really punchy and fun. Yeah, but it's super clean too. I don't know, man. If you're in the States, I would get something from Crutchfield, compare it yourself, and then send it back. But like, I don't think there's like a significant improvement from the 301 to the 501 to the 701. I had the 801. I thought that was really good. Victor Petrov, glad to catch you live, Randy. Thank you. Keep on keeping on. All the best from Bulgaria. Wow. Thank you, Victor, so much. That is awesome. Very awesome. Here's a good question. What do you think is the most challenging to do your job that we as viewers don't see? I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of work, especially if you want to put out a video like every day, like 4 videos a week, 5. I have another channel too that I've somewhat been neglecting. So I think just the amount of time and then also the pressure, because there's a great deal of pressure to get more content up on YouTube. So yeah, yeah, yeah. And the massive amount of boxes in the house. All right, we got to fill up. Karsten, $4.99. Thank you. How is Randy's channel different? I actually believe what he says. So many of the popular high-end audio YouTubers just seem like shills. Oh, stop. I don't think any of these guys are shills. Not at all. I mean, I've talked to Andrew Robinson, I've talked to John Darko, I've talked to Steve Gutenberg, I've talked to Zeos, I've talked to Josh Fowler, I've talked to DMS, of course, I've talked to Ron, and not one of them struck me as like having any type of angle and wanting to like. I mean, here's the thing: like most have affiliate links. And like the percentage that we get off of affiliate links isn't like spectacularly huge. So I think the danger is like if people were shills, I think the audience viewers would find out fairly quickly because of like, let's say, like I said, I don't know, this is the best tape measure out there. All right. This tape measure is going to change your life. Look at his pen right here. Tape measure is going to change your life. You're going to get more accurate cuts. All of your projects are going to be better because of this tape measure. And then you get it and it breaks within 5 minutes. Or if it's way off, like if this is like an inch off, and all your stuff's messed up. Like if I just did a video about how great this tape measure was, and then thousands of people watched it, thousands of people bought it. I mean, there's going to be like huge backlash on my part, and people will ultimately stop watching the channel. So I think if someone's a true shill, if they're shilling things that aren't good, then everything works itself out. But anything, in speaking with most of the individuals out there, I never, and we talk about a lot of times we talk about like behind the scenes stuff with YouTube, and I don't get that vibe from anybody. But yeah, I mean sometimes sometimes maybe our ears don't jive with people's ears that are out there, other people's ears that are out there. So I get that. I had this one guy early on in the channel. It was the SMSL something. It was one of their first little integrated amps. It was like $120 or something. And I remember saying it was good, right? It was good for $120. This guy jumped in my comments on live streams. I was like yelling at me, calling me a shill, saying this thing sounds horrible and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I thought it sounded pretty good. But he was very angry. I think I had to block him actually. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Randy, trying to test donating to you, but don't know what doing apparently. I'm not sure if it went through. Embarrassed. Jim, if it went through, it'd like pop up down here as something. Don't worry about it, man. You don't need to donate. I appreciate though. I appreciate the thought. But down there at the bottom of the comments, there should be something that says like send super chat or super thanks or something like that. But don't worry about it. I just like hanging out with you. You missed BGN $50 super chat, orange covering eyes. Did I? I got Karsten. I got Philip. I got Victor. Going up, 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 up. Got Ramon. up. Got Pandemonium. Got Philip. Oh, I got Movie Junkie John. Yeah, that was the first one. I don't know which one I missed. Randy, you understand that people have a limited budget? Yes, I do understand that. Absolutely. This channel was founded on people having budgets. Have I tested the Marantz MS7055? I have not. No. Morning. I'm still using 80s and 90s vintage stuff. Isn't it crazy that we can say 80s and 90s is actually vintage? It's amazing to me. What's crazy is to think like 23 years ago was the year 2000, and then the 80s were like 20 years before that. Like whenever I hear someone talk about 20 years ago, I like automatically think of the 70s. I mean, 23 years ago was 2000. Oh, crazy. Same here. Fred Crook. Do you still have a cassette deck? I do, but it's not hooked up. I actually need to clean it off and get it going. How do you get your content ideas and how do you do your selection of it? Well, normally, like I have a stack of stuff, so like that's pretty easy as far as like what am I going to make videos on? So that's not difficult. I mean, I'll come up with like I have a running. It's a I don't know a note on my iPhone that carries over to my computers and everything. So every time I have an idea, I write it down in there. Or if I have an idea for a thumbnail, if I have an idea for a joke or something like that, I'll write it down in there. And so and then I get a lot of ideas from watching channels outside of like the audio space. So I watch a lot of watch reviews. I watch a lot of reviews on like tools. I watch car channels. I watch channels about boots, channels about like denim, like heritage, like clothing and knives, all that stuff. So I'll get ideas from, other creators that are well outside the audio space. And then I get ideas from creators in the audio space. Like John Darko he does like a 5 more thoughts or 10 more thoughts. So he'll do, let's say, a video on I don't know, Blue Sound streamer. And then he'll be like, next day or the next 2 days later, he'll do 10 more thoughts on the Blue Sound Node or something like that. Actually, I was thinking about doing that for the Hikos because there's a few things like I had it written in my notes. I was going to talk about like amp, like the amps I think that would benefit the Hikos. And I left that out. I forgot about that when I did my regular video. Anyway, Paul Klink, $10. Thank you. Just wanted to say thanks. You have explained all the mistakes I have made because I didn't know what I didn't know, i.e. integrated amp and DAC / streamer, etc. Well, thank you, Paul, very much. Very much. Lynn Brandt, $10. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. What's your take on the Dyne Audio? Unfortunately, I haven't heard them. I haven't heard any Dyne Audios. I'm excited though because I have Arundel speakers in, and I also have some new Buchard speakers. Well, they're not new; they're new to me. But so I've got some Buchard and Arundel speakers, and I don't know which ones I'm going to put up today because the Hikos are down, so a new speaker gets to go up. What should I do? Should I put the Buchards up or the Arundels up? Real quick. Let's do a quick vote. Quick vote. You tell me. Yes to both. All right. Pick one, Fred. Arundel or Buchards. All right. Which Buchards? I think they're the more affordable ones. All right. We got Buchards. We got Buchard. All right. Another boo card. Okay. Okay. I think this is going to be, I think boo card's going to win by a fairly significant margin. Oh, Ben Gleason, boo card. I didn't see you there, Ben. Ben is one of my patrons, also one of my Discord overlords. Okay, boo cards. Brand new Yemo C97 awaiting the outcome on the sub. John, I'm a patron subscriber as well, if that matters. Are we the 200K yet? 197 and change, actually. So the next day or two, we'll probably go to 198, which is getting close. Something on my arm, other arm. There. What is that? Came in late, Randy. How do the Hecos compare to the RP600M? Come on, Ben. Is that a real question? That can't possibly be real. There's like polar opposite of the RP600M. All bass, all lower mids, a little bit forward in the upper mid range at times, but nothing like the RP600Ms. Oh, my son's cooking something. What watch do you have today? This is a Tudor Heritage Black Bay on a vintage leather strap. Yeah. So this is like one of the I think they still make this watch, but it's been around for a while. Boom. Hey, ever done Canton speaker review? Check them out. They're back in the US now. Ooh, I didn't know that. I got a friend who swears by Cantons, but like the vintage ones. Hey, Randy, do you believe in ghosts? I've never seen one. I have been in places though where I've felt like the heebie-jeebies. I love those. I used to watch those shows, the ghost shows, right? Where like they would go hunt for ghosts. They'd be like, I don't know, some crazy like insane asylum for the criminally insane or something like that was shut down in the early 1900s because of the criminal conditions and all that stuff. And guess what? I don't think they ever found a ghost. All of these things. I mean, I know there was one, supposedly there was this crazy haunted house in like Kansas somewhere. And somebody came out, and this was before digital video. So someone came out, was actually shooting on tape, and they supposedly captured some stuff, but it turns out it was all a scam. And even the people that were doing like the video couldn't figure out how it was a scam, but the whole thing was like a scam, because I think whenever there's money involved with something, like I highly doubt that there's, I don't know, ghosts. Anyway, what's your experience? Pop it in the comments. Have you ever seen a ghost? So yeah, there's a really good channel called Decoding the Unknown. It's got Simon Whistler, and he talks a lot about this. And I'm kind of with John, or with Simon. I don't have a dog in the hunt, horse in the race. Personally, never seen a ghost. But yeah, it'd be cool if there were. If there was ghosts, okay, here, like if there's ghosts, why are they all wearing like old timey clothes? People, like, how come we've never seen a ghost like walking around with a cell phone? Like some kid walking around that got mowed down by a bus like 10 years ago. They had cell phones 10 years ago. Why are we all like, it's all like Civil War era ghosts or like old timey picture ghosts, like at what point did like we stop getting ghosts in the late 1800s? Like no more ghosts after that? Because everybody that sees a ghost, it's all from like old timey stuff. I don't know. Where's it like a mullet ghost? Why don't we have mullet ghosts? People with mullets died. That's why I think that's one of the best arguments for why ghosts aren't a thing, is because we haven't seen any mullet ghosts or cell phone ghosts. Okay. They're still fermenting. That's a good point, Fred. Why Bigfoot looks like Chewbacca. Oh, we got one vote for the Arendals. I have never seen a ghost in my life or Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch. I would love it if those things were cool or true. I would love it. Would love it. Would love it. But I don't think they are. I believe in Patrick Swayze. 926. Ed Dents, thank you. Today, what would be your desert island forever speaker? Ooh, it's not even I don't even have to think about it. The B2 Plus from Emotiva. Don't even have to think about it. It's the speaker I keep coming back to, even though I have like more expensive speakers. I think a close second would be the Q Acoustics 5040. But yeah, I don't even have to think about it. B2 Plus. Was going to get a mullet cut, but I ghosted my barber. Nailed it. I had a glorious mullet for years. Is there electricity on that island? I hope so. Beetlejuice. Do you know anything about the KEF 207/2 speakers? I bought a pair. Reasonable. Are they good? I don't know. I've never heard of those. I mean, I've had the Q150s. Wait a minute. Is it the Q150? KEF Q150, Q350. So I've had the 150s, I've had the 350s, I've had the LS50s, but not the LS50 Meta. So I've had those three. Outside of that, I haven't heard any other KEFs. I'd love to. Audio technology hasn't changed that much in decades. What do new speakers do better over vintage speakers? Well, I think vintage speakers probably have, a lot of them are made from like particle board enclosures. So number one, they probably ring like a 5-gallon bucket. Even like the Klipsch Heritage stuff used to be made out of particle board. So new speakers probably have significantly fewer cabinet resonance issues. Two, you can get more bass out of a smaller speaker with port technology and with passive radiator technology. So Polk and Klipsch have both done a lot of work with port design, velocities, enclosure construction. Q Acoustics has done a lot of enclosure stuff where they put like some gel in between the enclosure, like a sandwich, dissipates resonance based on heat. So I think cabinets construction is way better today. Broad strokes here too, paint with broad strokes. Then we could also talk about DSP, but DSP, we'll just leave that off the table. So I think drivers are made better. I think drivers are made more cheaply now, so you can get a better driver at a lower price. I think cabinets are better. I think bracing is better. I think there is more like transparency because of idiots like me. Because like back in the day, vintage speakers, you put something in a magazine, put it in the store, and that was it, right? You didn't like the community as a whole didn't have any way of finding out about a speaker unless there's an article written about it. And sometimes when an article was written about it, maybe that speaker company is like advertising in that magazine. Not to say that like that would affect it could affect though. And so also you have long throw cones now. So back in the day, like woofers didn't have long throw cones. So you'd have to have like a 15 inch woofer, 12-inch woofer to get any meaningful bass, because you didn't have the surround and the driver tech that you have today. Today, you can get a 6-inch subwoofer that can hit 30 hertz, you know? So yeah, anyway, that's just my quick. So that's what I think new speakers do better than vintage speakers, for sure. The irony is that I've had some of these like heritage style new speakers that are built like old speakers. Even the ones that have big woofers, I don't feel like they make enough bass compared to like a well-designed 6.5-inch woofer. Anyway, ABX audiophile, what up? XPA2 versus XPA DR2. Both current gens. Thoughts between the two? Cheers, brother. XPA2. I'm trying to. Okay. We're talking 2-channel versus differential. Thoughts between the two. I think if you have true differential, then get the push pull, get the DR2. I personally have an XPA. I used to have an XPA 2, but it was 2 mono modules. So I sent that back. They put in another mono module for my center channel, and then 4 more stereo modules for the rest. So my XPA is now an 11-channel amplifier. But the best I've heard, best amp I've heard is the DR1 monoblocks. I've never actually heard the DR2, but effortless control over the bass if you're running pure differential throughout the chain. So yeah. Gray Wolf says totally agree. I don't know. Was that about my diatribe about speaker? Best way to find out about speakers was word of mouth back in the day. Yeah. Yeah. That's not like the only way, right? And like when I was growing up, you know, I didn't have anybody to talk to, you know, especially at my budget. Anyway. Okay. I think that might be it. No more super chats. Ramon, I'm 46. I'm 47. When in high school, early mid 90s, 70s rock was classic. And I thought that was old. Now Pearl Jam, Nirvana, classic rock radio was older than classic rock when we were kids, or old. I get it, man. If you think about it, like 1990, 90 or 91 was like a bunch of big records came out in 90 or 91. Like the Black, Metallica Black, Nevermind. I think something came out from Pearl Jam or something. Anyway, huge, like bunch of big records came out. And to think that was 33 years ago is like mind bending for me. 33 years ago, man. Like, so 33 years ago. So in the 90s, 33 years ago, in 1990, that would have been 1957. 1957. So think about that. Like, we're kids listening to music today. Listening to that record would have been like us listening to something from the late 50s. Now, I bet you feel like you need a nap, don't you, Ramon? Yeah. Yeah. Fred Cook's 53. Hey, man, I'm gonna be a fun 53. Lisa's older than all of us. That's okay. We're only as young as we feel. 96. LOL. That's 94. 94. All right. I think we're gonna call it. Anything else? Any burning desires? Can you do a deep dive with the Sin? I love that thing. Sin is so much fun. It can do it all. It's like that's the Swiss Army knife of audio. The Schkit Sin. Very much do it all. Wii Mini is on sale. Should I go for it or just hold off for the Pro Plus? I would go for the Pro. I'll wait till the Pro goes on sale, because chances are, if you're watching this, you're probably going to buy an external DAC anyway. I mean, the Pro Plus is good. It's a good DAC. Sounds pretty good. I would just wait for the Pro to go on sale, though, unless you want the remote. If you want the remote, Pro Plus goes on sale too. So yeah, 73. Man, nailed it. That was my number in football, 73. Peace out, Boy Scout. Just turned 66, 1957 last month. I still play my old classic rock records and listen to classic rock radio. Very good. Oh, $5, Jared. Thank you so much for your after nap coffee. Actually, I'm going to go buy a new bike. They told me that my old bike was going to cost more to repair than what it was worth. I think I'm going to go buy a new bike. 1980, baby. It was 76. Neil, here we go. We got someone weighing in on this. Almost all speakers play down to 80 hertz, right? It's just a matter of how much of the bottom 2 octaves they play. There you go. Neil, I was waxing poetic about current speaker technology and why it's better than vintage speaker technology, or could be better. Anyway, hey, Randy, you have a cool knife in the last live stream or in one of your videos. Do you have a link? What is the name of that? Yeah, actually, I'm right here. This one? Hi-Fi Photo Brian? Is it this one? Look at that patina going on there. I actually need to sharpen this thing. Yes, this is I linked it in one of the videos. This is a Kershaw. I can't remember, like it's I'll tell you the model number if you can write this down. 136BW. It's like $25. I bought this for like $17 at Walmart, and best knife ever. Action. It's not like the best knife. It won't hold the sharpest edge. It doesn't dull super fast, but I love the way it feels. I love the weight of it. And the irony is that I've held on to this knife longer than I've held on to more expensive knives. And it's a cheap knife. Oh, here's a good one. Do I like Static X? Do I like Static X? Wisconsin Death Trip. I've seen Static X twice in concert, and I think I'm going to see them on October 6th. So I love Static X. They are awesome. All right. Y'all have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining me on a Tuesday. I love you all. More content to come. Bye-bye. Bye. Be safe. Be kind. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.